Israel has fought a shadow war against Iran and its proxies for decades, but in the last year, the hostilities have erupted on several different fronts. To talk about this, let's bring in Dr. Farhad Rezaei. He is a Middle East expert at the Philos Project. Good to see you again, Farhad. Right after the attacks, some of Iran's proxies jumped right into the conflict. Alberto Fernandez, a former vice president of the Middle East Media Research Institute, who previously served as a U.S. ambassador and diplomat, noted that in a recent interview. Let's take a listen.
Well, of course, Hamas originated the conflict on October 7th, but Hezbollah joined on October 8th. And since then, 9,000 Hezbollah rockets have fallen on Israel and wounded and injured people, civilians, including children. Iran created these proxies, including Hezbollah, as a kind of safety network for Iran's ambitions in the region.
Fred, I want to get your reaction to that. I know you know so much about that and what's happening in Lebanon.
Well, Ambassador is so right. Hamas and Hezbollah and other proxy groups that the Islamic regime controls in the Middle East. By the way, there are 19 terror groups that the regime controls. All of them are fighting the regime's fight against Israel. The time that the revolutionaries in Iran came to power, Khomeini's came to power, they decided to take on Israel for a specific reason. They said they want to return Jerusalem to the hand of Muslims. But they did not want to do it directly because of various reasons. The most important one was Israel was strong. It had a strong army. It had the support of the United States. And they decided to do it through proxies. And this war against Israel has been continuing for this 45 years by the Islamic regime against Israel through proxies until October 7th. On October 7th, Hamas carried out that brutal attack against Israel, killed over 1,200 civilians, raped Israeli women, beheaded Israeli children. And day after, Hezbollah in the north started to shell Israel over 9,000 rockets against Israeli civilians and Israeli cities. So this story has continued up to very recently, that Iran decided to enter the fight directly. In April, it decided to attack Israel with a barrage of ballistic missiles and drones. And then once again, very recently, a few days ago, again started to attack Israel with ballistic missiles. So what I can see here is that this proxy war between the Islamic regime in Iran and Israel is now changing. The dynamic is changing, and the proxy war is changing to the direct war between Iran and Israel.
Yeah, and there are so many people caught in the crossfires of this, a lot of innocent people, including Christians. What are the implications for Christians in this region?
Look, this is a very good question. The implication for Christians is really huge. Iran has a history of persecution of Christians, not only inside Iran, but also in the Middle East. We actually have a report about this, the invisible jihad, that the Islamic regime in Iran and its proxies in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Yemen waged a brutal war against the Christians. If Iran manages to defeat Israel, Christians will suffer a lot. They already are suffering by the war that the Iranian regime and its proxies are waging against Christians. And if they manage to defeat Israel, Christians will suffer a lot. So this is a moral responsibility of the West, especially the United States, to not let that happen.
Well, Farhad, thank you so much for coming on. Always appreciate it and the good work that you do. God bless you.